Conceive, believe, achieve.
This is former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Michael Bisping.
Paddy the Baddy here, you're listening to Combat Sports UK.
And you're watching Combat Sports
My next guest is going to be back in action. UFC 295, November 11th. Doesn't get much bigger than this. It's Nazim Sadykhov back here on the program. Nazim, how are you?
What's good, man? I'm doing good. Feeling great. How are you?
I'm feeling great too, but I'm not going to be fighting in front of all the crowd at Madison Square Garden, man. Just how pumped were you to be on this card as a New York native?
I couldn't sleep the night that I found out. I couldn't sleep, honestly. I probably got like 2 hours of sleep in. I was still in Baku when I found out, so I was due to fly out like literally like 48 hours before I found out. So I was already training out there, and so camp pretty much already started for me, but I had no idea I was going to be on. And the night I found out, I just couldn't sleep, man. Myself and my family were super excited. We were stoked.
Yeah, and also fighting with Steamroller Matt Frivola as well. That's got to be cool too, sharing the card with him.
Yeah, that adds to everything. The energy in the gym has been like, I don't know, I can't even. It's been incredible. You know, the three of us on the same card, three guys that throw down. It's gonna be a magical night for us, for our team.
Was it just a matter of you wanted to be on the card and the opponent wasn't really, a big deal? Like, because I know you wanted to fight at Madison Square Garden. Everyone does, right?
Yeah, the lightweight is stacked, like lightweight is a stacked weight class. Right now, like if I was like a top 5 fighter, then maybe I would pick and choose, do these call outs and stuff. But I'm always going to be employed in lightweight. Lightweight is a stacked weight class. So right now it's just a matter of marking off my bucket list, just checking off those MSG and fighting in Brooklyn maybe one day. I just have a bunch of places in mind that I dream to fight in, and this is one of them, and this is definitely at the top of the list. So, yeah, man, it doesn't really matter who, but it matters where and what occasion for me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And, this is one of those fights too, I think with Borshchev that, you guys could be ranked, right? Like that's how good of a fight this is, and this is how stacked the division is. I'm sure you're familiar with him, but was he one of those guys you had to look up, or did you know him pretty well before taking the fight?
No, I knew him pretty well. He actually made some waves. He made a noise for a while now. He got signed off of Contender Series. That was like I think it was a short notice fight for him or for his opponent. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly that scenario, but he was impressive there. And then he made waves with the dance. With doing the Kalinka after his victories. So he's like been somebody that I've been seeing a lot. I didn't know, or I didn't really think that we were going to fight up until his fight in May. He had a great knockout over Mahistate, I think is his name, who's also a surging prospect. So he had a good KO off of him, and then that put him in that automatically like put him in the category of, okay, yeah, we'll be fighting at some point.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because I think he got a win over Chris Duncan on Contender Series. Chris Duncan was supposed to fight Terrence McKinney his last fight. You defeated Terrence, right? Yeah. So kind of works hand in hand there as well, which is great. Tell me a little bit about camp. Is it just business as usual? Who are you mainly working with for this one, helping you get ready for the fight?
Well, I actually been getting a lot of work with Frivola. I think for Frivola and I, it works out perfect. He's fighting a pressure southpaw, and I'm fighting a striker, orthodox striker, where Steamroller, whether it's in training or in a fight or even on the ground, he always poses that threat. He always has dangerous hands. So it's somebody who I always, when I'm sparring him, I always have to be on my toes. Be what's the right way to say it? Just be on point.
Keep you on your toes, I think is the expression.
Yeah, he's not somebody that you want to fool around with. So it's like the perfect preparation for me for Borshchev, and Frivola's been in phenomenal shape the entire camp. I've been in great shape the entire camp. So it's like been great high level work. Every sparring that we've gone, all the rounds of grappling and wrestling that we've gone have made each other better just off of this camp alone. So it worked out perfect. That's my main training partner. But then, of course, we have a talent pool. We have a talent pool of killers, especially in our weight class in Serra Longo. So I'm probably going to be sparring Charlie at some point before the camp wraps up. I'm probably going to spar. We have this other guy, Levon Khaibalaev, who's also, you're going to hear about this guy. He's absolutely insane striker, kickboxer. And then the wrestling, the grappling is always we always have that on point. We always have that down. So honestly, there's like not even a specific game plan or anything. It's just evolving as a mixed martial artist every single camp. So it's more of the same this camp.
Who will be in your corner for this fight? Same corner as usual?
Well, Frevola is fighting.
Right. Yeah, I wasn't sure if maybe he'd finish his, or I guess you're fighting before. I don't know how the bout order goes. I think you're fighting before him, actually, no?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Dennis, me, and then Frevola.
Okay, gotcha.
He's not cornering me for this one. Aljo's going to be there, Coach Eric Hyatt, and Ray Longo.
Excellent. And how's this fight playing out? I mean, this has got Fight of the Night written all over it.
It does, but I am aiming more for a performance of the night. I don't. I know a lot of people jumped on the wrestling and the grappling aspect of things, but I'm not so. I don't feel as though I need to rush any of that because I don't feel like this is a striker versus grappler matchup. I feel like I'm just the better mixed martial artist, so I'm gonna step in there and just be the better mixed martial artist. And when the openings open up, they'll come. But I don't feel as though I have to rush a takedown because I'm so incapable on the feet. I'm perfectly capable of putting him away. And wherever this fight goes, I feel I'm going to have the advantage. So it's just about being the better mixed martial artist, the smarter fighter, using your head, using your IQ. And yes, this does have fight of the night potential. I'm always open to that, but I'm looking for performance of the night. I want to be impressive. I want to establish myself. I want people to look at that performance on November 11th and say, okay, this guy's ready for top 15.
Where does a win here put you in the grand scheme of things? Because you've been on quite the roll since coming into the UFC. I know you're not picking and choosing things, but you got to know kind of the implications of a win here because there's a lot of hype behind Borshchev as well, right?
Yeah, I think it puts me closer to top 15. I want to make my intentions clear. Is that I want to be champion. I want to move closer and closer to top 15. There's guys that want to have 6-7 fights a year and just, secure a bag and just the title doesn't really mean anything to them. They're worried about I want to be the champion. But I also yeah, man, that's it, bro. Whatever just keeps me moving up the ranks. That's what I want. I want to get this win on November 11th. And whatever's next, that's up to the UFC, and I'm okay with that because to me, it doesn't really matter. Whatever moves me closer to top 15, top 10, top 5 in that belt.
You got a couple more fights left on your contract?
So this would be 3 of 4.
Nice. So big fight, right?
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, again, that's something that's out of my Ruby's going to be on top of that.
Yeah, he handles it. That's why you got him on your team, right? You got to, he handles all the negotiations and stuff. But that's, optically that's good. You get another big win here. I mean, that's going to be nice to go back to the negotiating table because usually you negotiate before the last one, right?
Yeah, it's that. I think it was a possibility after McKinney, but I guess one more. I have an idea of how it works, but I don't really care. Just come to me with a good deal on the next one. Let's get this victory November 11th, God willing, and then just come to me with a nice fat check in the next one, and I'll be okay.
Speaking of contracts and stuff, I don't know if you saw the news just before we hopped on here. It looks like Showtime is in fact getting rid of MMA and boxing. So it looks like Bellator looks like they're dead in the water. What do you think about maybe some Bellator guys coming over to the UFC?
That's great. There's some really high level guys there. Let's see. I'm actually more curious about what the other half is going to do because not everybody's getting signed to the UFC.
Right.
Not only half, it's less. It's a few guys are going to get signed, and then the rest is I don't know where they're going to go. So I'm curious what's going to happen with those guys. They literally have a contract, and it's just useless. They just simply don't have it.
Yeah. And last one for me, USADA. USADA is going away. I know the UFC is using a new drug testing. I know you haven't been in the UFC that long, but what were your thoughts on that, and what has your experience been with USADA so far?
I'm happy that they're there, I still think there's a lot of people juicing in the sport, and without making claims and pointing fingers and all this stuff, whatever is next, I just hope that it's an even playing field. I hope that, like us fighters, there's at least some sort of even playing field for the guys that are doing this the fair way versus the guys that are using a little bit to pump themselves up. I really just hope that there's an even playing field. So it's not like you have a really talented, a really hardworking guy, but he can't compete with the guys that are on the juice. Those guys just have the edge every single time. So I just hope that it's a even playing field, whatever is next. I was happy with the whole USADA thing, but even with them, it's like they'll test certain guys like 50 times in camp, and then some guys will get tested like twice. That's also like a little bit lopsided. Let's get everybody tested, an even amount of times, whether that may be 2 times or 10 times. Let's get everybody tested frequently or whatever. Just an even playing field is what I hope for.
And you got a phone to get, I guess. I know you're in someone's office right now, but I really appreciate it, Nazim. Thank you so much. If there's anyone you'd like to...
That's not for me, brother. Don't worry.
No, I know. I'm just making sure you're getting that phone, but I have to acknowledge it, right? It's like a heckler in a comedy crowd. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Nothing, man. I just want to let everybody know I have a bunch of stuff on the way. I haven't been the biggest social media guy, but it's time to ramp it up, and we're gonna have YouTube. We're gonna have a bunch of media going. We have Jake Fine, our media guy. He's been doing wonders for us. So we're gonna have a lot of projects, a lot of things going. I do have a lot of sponsorships, but you guys are gonna see that on my social medias. So that's it, man. We got a lot of content coming your way. And that's it, man. Thank my team. Another great camp coming to a close shortly, but we still got some work to put in. November 11th, see you guys there. This one's going to be amazing.